Warning, this video is rated R for corporate cruelty. Viewer discretion is advised. You have been warned. So with that, I'm gonna show you my Leela Credit Denial Ice Denial deck versus RP, one of the most annoying decks in the world. Well, it's not as annoying as my deck, let's just put it that way. So, we'll see how I can use my tools to leverage against the sheer power of RP. So, my opening hand seems like a godsend. It's like a heavenly opening hand. But is it really? When you look at it closely, you realize that the very reason why I include SMC in this deck is to provide increased consistency for drawing medium and ether. But they're already both in my opening hand, so SMC is a dead card. Desperado is good, but there's no other form of economy, and there's no account siphon, most importantly. So I had to mulligan that into a hand that didn't have any of my breakers. Well, Breach doesn't really count, it's RP. Cortez Chip is pretty useless early on, but there's the early siphon. It's not the best opening hand, but there's quality time to smoothen things out, so I'm looking fairly okay with this opening hand. So, he shows me his goods right off the bat on turn 1, and well, he basically just lost the game right here. As you see me type in the chat, this is just asking for an account siphon. So I know that he only has Yagura, Komainu, and Pup. All three don't end the run, and that is where you can really leverage your power against Jinteki RP, who has no end the run, who cannot punish tech, who has no tech punishment. Good luck. I'm definitely gonna play the account siphon. The question is, how do I mitigate the downside of Komainu, which will zap my entire hand away? I think it's a Komainu, so what I'm gonna do is to play as many cards as I can from my hand, and then a siphon last click. Sure enough, it was the Komainu. I will lose my one card. By the way, the other two ice, Pup and Yagura, will not deal any net damage. Yagura will deal 1 net damage. That's it. So, running with one card in hand was perfectly safe because there was no Tsurugi, there was no Nero Katana. Alright, so that's good. Life is fantastic. I'm rich, he's poor. This is exactly where I want to be. Although I have no cards in hand, that's okay because that means I can siphon him again if need be. Alright, I draw firstly into my SMC. This is a very important card. This will allow me to tutor medium and or ether. I need some way to get past that Komainu. There are a couple of ways. My deck has a lot of solutions. Emergency Shutdown is probably the best solution, but I cannot rely on drawing into it. Whereas ether is definitely going to be on the cards with my SMC. So I'm definitely looking into that, and here I want to run his mental health clinic. I know for sure that's a health clinic, but I couldn't run because I realized he was RP. Very annoying. So I had to let him get his health clinic off, which is quite a problem. You don't want any asset economy lying on the table. That will cause you to lose the game, because this deck is all about keeping your opponent at 0 to 3 credits for half the game. Alright, since he did not trash my account siphon, big mistake. You have to trash those same old things. Otherwise, I'm just going to recur siphon against you. Here, I bring out the ether so that I don't trash my inside job. Inside job is a pretty important card. It will allow me to contest his remotes and to get into centrals when need be. And also because he's on 0 credits, I know he cannot rest the Yagura on R&D. I access a future perfect, which I immediately win. So now you see how powerful credit denial is. This is the only way to counter Future Perfect and Caprice Nisei. By sucking RP down to 0 credits, you render these two cards useless. They cannot defend themselves, and I think this is the way to go if you want to build a deck that counters RP hard. Of course, there's Stealth ND as well, which is probably better, but this is one way to really, really annoy your RP opponent. Alright, so with that said, I found my John Masanori. I'm going to install it. It would be a mistake for the corp not to trash it, because I'm just going to get lots of free draw from this. But he's more interested in getting his Sundew set up, which is the right choice. If he gets his Sundew off for a few more turns, all my siphons have been in vain. So I need to deny his Sundew ASAP, and the perfect card arrives to do that. I found my account siphon. I'm definitely going to siphon him here. It's a bit annoying having to pay 4 to break Komainu, but it has to be done. I need to keep him poor. And now that he's poor, I can go trash the Sundew without using the inside job. He cannot rest the ice, so I'll just dirty laundry instead, which will give me more money. And deny him his credits. So he's on 0 credits, he can't play Celeb Gift, he can't play Hedge Fund, he has no asset economy. The only thing he can do right here, click for 3 credits. and that he does. Or install a new asset which he just drew into. That works as well. So what did he draw into? It's probably another Sundew. So I'll start my turn. He does not rest the Sundew, so it's probably a mental clinic. So here I'm going to Dirty Laundry his hand. I cannot access any cards this turn. All I want to do here is to activate the HQ run. Obviously, I drew into the emergency shutdown last turn. I'm about to play it. So, I access 0 cards from HQ. I shut his Komainu down, so he cannot rest this Komainu against me until he gets 5 credits. No matter. This means that I can access HQ for agendas. I run HQ and I see a Nisei Mark II that was stuck in his hand because he was unable to get enough credits to protect his hand or to score it. So now I can bounce an ice off R&D and find another Nisei Mark II to win the game immediately. So that was a complete blowout, mostly because of my good access luck. I think I only accessed 3 cards from the Centrals this game, all 3 were agendas. But beyond that, I think this shows you just how powerful credit denial is against Jinteki. Whether it's Glacier Jinteki or Flatland Jinteki, equally effective and very devastating. This is corporate porn, if you ask me. I bet it was absolute hell for my opponent to deal with this, and he definitely wasn't very happy about this game. I have to apologize for that, but it's one of the few ways which you can suppress Jinteki RP sheer power. And there was very little my opponent could do about it once the first Siphon had landed. In fact, the only mistake he made this game was playing the first Celebrity Gift, but that was a huge mistake that cost him the game. I certainly got quite lucky this game because I drew all the pieces as I needed them. I found my SMC when I needed a breaker to get into HQ. I found 3 account siphons in the top third of my deck. And even if I did not access those 2 last Niseis there to win the game, the medium was in my hand, ready to fire the next turn. So my opponent tried his best to recover from the economic losses, but it just wasn't enough. What can you do? Thanks for watching and happy night running. See you around.